And we are asking, why does this fragmentation take place? What is the source of it? Is it knowledge? Yes, sir.
Knowledge, you think? You say
Is
yes,
it
sir.
knowledge? I'm sure it is, but I'm putting it as a question.
Yeah. Certainly seems to be.
No, look into it. Let's find out.
What do you mean by knowledge? When you what are you talking about there?
The word to know. Do I know you? Or I have known you. I can never say I know you. Actually, it would be an abomination to say I know you.
Right.
I have known you. Because you, in the meantime, are changing. You have all your, you follow, there's a great deal of movement going on in you.
Right.
And to say I know you means I am acquainted or intimate with that movement which is all going on in you. It would be an imprudence on my part to say,
Right.
I know you.
That's right. Because not only that, that would be denying your effect on me, which is causing me, which is a change from knowing you, from being with you.
So knowing, to know is the past. Huh? Would you say to that?
Yes, I mean, what we know is the past. And
Knowledge is the past.
but I mean, the danger is that we call it the present. I mean, is that it? The danger is that we call knowledge the present.
That's just it.
That, in other words, if we said the past is the past, then wouldn't you say it needn't fragment?
What's that?
If we said that, if we recognized or we acknowledged that the past is the past, it's gone, therefore what we know is past,
Past, yes.
then that would not introduce fragmentation.
That would quite.
But if we say what we know is what is present now, then we are introducing fragmentation,
Quite right.
because we are imposing this partial knowledge on the whole.
So would you say knowledge is one of the factors of fragmentation? So that's saying an awful, you followed,
well,
it's a large pill to swallow.
But also, you're implying there are other factors.
Yes.
But,
And that may be the only factor.
yeah. But you see, I think we should look at it this way, that people have hope through knowledge to overcome fragmentation,
Of course.
to produce a system of knowledge that will put it all together.
Again, Bronowski's Ascent of Man Through Knowledge, emphasizing knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. Is that not one of the major factors, or perhaps the factor, of fragmentation? My experience tells me, I'm a Hindu. My experience tells me I know what God is.
Well, yeah, wouldn't we better say that confusion about the role of knowledge is what's
Yes.
the cause of fragmentation? In other words, knowledge itself. See, if you say knowledge is always the cause.
No, I said we began by asking.
Yeah, I mean, let's make
yes,
it clear.
Of course, of course. So that's what we said yesterday in our talk. Art is putting things in its right place. So I'm putting knowledge in its right place.
Right.
Yeah, so we're not confused about
Of
it anymore.
course.
Right. Right. You know, I was just going to bring in this rather interesting example. A patient of mine was teaching me something the other day, and she said, I have the feeling that as a doctor, the way you operate is, she says, there's a group of doctors who've seen certain kinds of patients, and if they do X to them, they'll get certain kind of effects, and they achieve things. She says, you're not talking to me. You're doing this to me, hoping you'll get this result. Huh?
Quite.
That's what you're saying.
No, a little more so than that. We are saying, both Dr. Bowman and I, we are saying knowledge has its place.
Well, let's go into
Like
that.
driving a car, learning a language, and so on.
Yes, we could say, why is that not fragmentation? We could make it clear. You see that, in other words, if we drive a car using knowledge, that is not fragmentation.
No.
Right?
But when knowledge is used psychologically.
Yeah, I mean, one should see more clearly what the difference is. You see, that is the car itself, as I see it, is a part, and a limited part, and therefore it can be handled by knowledge.
You mean it's a limited part of life?
Of life, yes.
Right.
But when we say I am so-and-so, I mean the whole of me, you see. And therefore I'm applying a part to the whole. I'm trying to cover the whole by a part.
When knowledge assumes it understands the whole,
Yes. And
then begins the
but
mystery.
it's often very tricky because I'm not explicitly spelling out that I understand the whole, but it's implicit by saying everything is this way, or I am this way.
Correct,
But
correct.
it implies that the whole is this way, you see. The
Yes.
whole of me, the whole of life, the whole of the world.
Well, what Krishnaji was saying, I mean, like, I know you,
Yeah.
that's how we do with ourselves. We say, I know this about me, rather than being open to the new event, or even being aware of the
Yeah,
fragmentation.
but I'm saying about you, then I shouldn't say I know all,
Right.
because you're not a limited part like a machine. You see, that's what's implied. You see, the machine is fairly limited, and we can know all that's relevant about it, or almost all anyway. Sometimes it breaks down.
Quite, quite.
But when it comes to another person, that's immensely beyond what you could really know. I mean, that's you know, the past experience doesn't tell you the essence.
Are you saying, Bob, that when knowledge spills over into the psychological field,
Well, also in another field, which I'd call the whole in general. You see, sometimes it spills over into the philosophical field when man tries to make a metaphysical view
of course,
of the whole universe.
Oh, I mean, that's of course. I mean, that's purely theoretical and
Yeah.
that has no meaning to me personally. I mean,
But I mean, that's one of the ways in which it
Yes.
does that, you see. It goes wrong. I mean, some people feel that when they are discussing metaphysics of the whole universe, it is not psychological. It probably is, but the motives behind it are psychological. But some people may feel that they're making a theory of the universe, not discussing psychology. I mean, I think it's a matter of getting the language.
language, quite.
Well, I mean, you see this with what you're saying, or what he's saying, can be extended to the way people are. They have a metaphysics about other people. I know
Yeah.
all other people are not to be trusted.
Or you have a metaphysics about yourself, saying, I'm
Right.
such and such a person.
Right. And I have metaphysics that life is hopeless and I must depend on these.
No, all that I can say is, we are fragmented. That's a fact.
Right.
And I am aware of those fragmented mind. There is an awareness of the fragmented mind because of conflict.
That's right.
You were,
Right.
yeah.
Huh?
You were saying before we have got to have an approach where we're not aware just because of that.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
Are we coming to that? I mean, I think.
Coming,
Yes.
yes. So from their conflict, I say, what is the source of this conflict? Source is fragmentation, obviously. Now, what brings about fragmentation? What is the cause of this, behind it?
Well,
We said perhaps knowledge.
perhaps knowledge.
Knowledge, psychologically, I use knowledge. I know myself. When I really don't know, because I'm changing, moving. Or I use knowledge for my own satisfaction,
Well,
for my position, for my
Yeah.
success, for becoming a great man in the world. I'm a great scholar. I've read a million books and I can tell you all about it. It gives me a position, a prestige, a status. So is that it? That fragmentation takes place when there is a desire for security, psychological security, which prevents biological security.
Right.
Because you said, right. And therefore, security may be one of the factors. Security in knowledge,
Right.
used wrongly.